G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, in that last video you would have seen where I bought that old Lincoln Jetwelder for $10 just for the cables. I mean, the cables were worth, probably new would be worth a couple of hundred, those sort of cables. And you get a welder like that for $10 just for the cables, and you scrap the rest. Now, this is, down here is my Peerless 4 coil, which is a great old welder. Well, it's actually not that old, but it was last of the sort of welder, AC welder families with 4 coils. The old Peerless has basically parallel coil sets in it. There's actually 2 secondaries and primaries. Now on the Lincoln that I've got, that'll just have, almost certainly just have 1 primary and 1 secondary, and no variable choke. On these, that knob on the front, that moves the solid iron choke in and out. Basically there's a hole in the middle of the transformer coil, and by moving this metal plug in and out, you vary the amperage rate. When you move the metal plug out and there's a hole there, the amps drop because you interrupt the magnetic field of the central core. And when you plug the hole, when you push the choke in, that gives you your maximum amps, because the welder transformer is operating at 100%, well, it's at its highest efficiency. I mean, they're not 100% efficient by any stretch. So, in fact, they're far from it. Okay, now let's look at the old Lincoln Jetwelder and just see what we've got there. So in the old days, they used what this Lincoln's got. It's what's called a tapped transformer, where they tap out from the solid core, solid centered transformer from the actual field windings, and that way, so on the secondary windings, they tap off at different places, and basically everything is fixed. There's no movable choke in this sort. These are okay, except you don't have an infinite variable range, whereas the variable chokes, you can set it anywhere between 0 and 130. With these, you just have set points, 130, 100, 80, and you just have to work with those ranges. They work okay, but variable is a lot better. Really, you got more control. Anyway, I learned on one of these, but the one I learned on only had 3 positions. I think it was 45, 80, and 130. Makes it pretty difficult when you've got that sort of limitation. So yeah, variable choke is the way to go. And of course now with modern inverted welders, it's the same as the modern AC welder. Everything's completely variable. You've got full range of adjustment. Let's open this up and see what's inside. This welder's case has seen better days, and the screws that are there, because some of them are missing, are all rusted up, so can't get them out with the old pliers even, so the fencing pliers. So we'll use the mighty Hilda, just cut the heads off with the cutting disc. These things are so good. I mean, I'd normally use an air tool, but this is much quicker and easier. Okay, we're there. I think we're there. Possibly. Right, that's got that apart. Now, as you can see, this is actually a wildlife sanctuary. You can see there's plenty of traces of the ubiquitous and rather nasty redback spider in there. I can't see any redbacks in there. They've either hidden, dashed off the cover, or maybe they've passed away, gone to a happier place. So, what have we got here? This is interesting. We've got a lead here that's not doing anything. So, that's come off of the... Oh, that's the 0 setting. That's the 0 setting, so that doesn't matter. They don't bother to terminate that. And here we have the 45, the 60, and then we go across to the, what have we got? Yeah, 80, 100s and 110s are over here. So yeah, it's just a big contact switch that basically, as I said, goes into various parts of the windings and taps out. She's pretty ancient, look at it. I mean, wow, this thing is really old. Really old. So there's quite a bit of copper in this old girl. That's, I think, yep. Yeah, it's copper with copper strap, actually. Interesting. See, they do use copper on the really high quality ones because it gives you a better duty cycle. You can overheat copper to hell, whereas aluminium will melt away long before copper breaks down. But of course, it still comes down to the insulation qualities. The insulation will probably pack up before the copper gets that hot anyway. So copper's got better conductivity, but aluminium has still got very good conductivity. So they use aluminium, it's cheaper. On the later stuff, it's cheaper, it's lighter, and it does the job really. I mean, all your major high voltage transmission lines you see strung across the country, they're all aluminium with steel core. It will cost a fortune to do that in copper, so they just use aluminium and it does the job. But here's where all your weight is. It's in this massive transformer core. So, you know, as you can see, the amount of copper in these is bugger all. All the weight is in the steel. So if you're thinking about making a fortune by stripping these down, you're not. You won't do it. The main thing, as I said, with these old girls is the cables. The cables are worth a lot of money because they're copper. And if they're heavy gauge like this is good gauge. This is perfect gauge. This is as heavy as you want to use, really. My Siemens are overkill. Yeah, as I said, for $10, this is how you do it. This is how you get your cables, all right? So don't feel bad about junking this stuff. It's had a good life. It's probably been happy where it was. But its time is up. Its day has come, and it's going to go to the scrapyard, graveyard. That's life. We're all going there one day. Well, yeah. Okay, so there you have it. A bit of an eye-opener as to what's in these old girls, and, you know, if you do get a cheapy welder, inverter welder, and you want to get some cables, don't shell out big money buying new, just pick up an old scrap AC unit for next to nothing and just cannibalize it. Okay, well that's it from me. It must be time for a beer. I hear a dog bark and I think it's agreeing with me. So see you next time. Cheers.